Hi everyone, welcome to this class. We'll be learning how to make this beautiful stylish gown with side gathers, or we can say side ruffle. So if this is what you are looking for, please stick to the end of the tutorial, and don't forget to please like, comment and share the video. If you are yet to subscribe, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so to draft this dress with the side gathers, this is what we will be using. So I've drafted out the outline for the dress. So this is the shoulder point, this is the bust point, this is the under bust, the waist, the hip line, and the hem of the dress. So the hem of the dress I'm working with, the length of the dress I'm working with is 36 inches. So now that we have our outline, let's impute all our measurements. First, we are going to draft out our nipple to nipple line. So my nipple to nipple is 6.5 divided by 2 will be 3.5. So I'm going to start from the bust point, then I'm going to mark it down and connect the line straight to the hip line. That is where it's going to be stopping. So now that I've done that, I'll just connect everything together. So it is on this nipple to nipple point I'm going to be drawing out my dart. So now that I've done that, let's impute our measurements so that we know the essence we have to draw out the dart. So my bust is 9.25. I'm going to come here to measure 9.25. Then I'll mark the same thing on the under bust point, 9.25. Then I'll do the same thing on the waist point, 9.25. So my under bust is 7.5. So I'm going to come here to the under bust to measure my 7.5. So this is the 7.5, my under bust line. And also my waist is 7.25. So I'm going to mark it like this. So this is the line I will be connecting. The bust measurement I marked at 9.25 is what I'll be connecting together. Then I will highlight it. That's very visible. So now that we've highlighted it, now you notice that on our waist and under bust we have some excesses here. So for the under bust we have 1.75. then you come to this point here, you measure, you divide the 1.75 on both sides. So I have it here. So we measure the excess on the waist also, we have 2 inches, and also distribute it on the both sides of the dart line. So this is what I have. My bust and my dart is going to stop ½ inch below the bust point, and also my bust dart also will be stopping ½ inch before the bust point. This is the bust point here. So I'm going to connect this line here. Let me connect it first to the waist. So this is what I will have for my waist dart. So now the under bust tightening, I'm going to mark, I've marked the excess we have on the under bust here. I've marked that. So I'm also just going to cuff it out. Okay, so we have it here, and we have this one here. So this, from the other bust here, I'm going to just connect the lines together to the waist. So this will be that line we'll be working with. So this is the waist dart. So for the bust dart, I'm just going to be using 1 inch for my bust dart. So the difference between the front waist, shoulder to waist, and the back shoulder to waist is 1 inch. So that is what I'm taking out as my bust dart. So I have this here. So going to highlight it like this. So once we have this now, this is my hip measurement. The dart is going to be stopping 1.5 inches before the hip line. So it's going to come like this. So I'll just connect it. (1.5) before the hip line. So now that my hip measurement is 10.5, I'm going to impute the hip measurement on the hip line, 10.5. I'm just going to impute it here, 10.5, then I'll connect the line like this. Okay, so now that I've done that, the measurement I used on my hip line is what I'm going to take to the hem of the dress. Since this is going to have a side gather, so there's no need of doing the pencil effect, so I'm just going to measure the 10.5 also on the hem of the dress and mark it out. I'll just draw it straight down. Okay, now that we have the outline of the dress ready, now we can proceed to do the off shoulder. You know, it's an off shoulder gown, so for the off shoulder effect, from my bust point here, I'm going to go up by 2 inches. Now if you want it to be so covered, you can go up more by 3 or 3.5. It depends on how open you want the breast to be. For me, I'm just going to step up by 2 inches, then I will draw the line. So I have, this is where the upper part, this is where it's going to start from. Then you notice that on this part of the neck there is a V effect on this part, so I'm just going to draw it. Depends on how wide you want it to be. 1 is okay for me, so that it'll be 2 inches open. By the time I open, I cut the full fabric and into stopping 1.5 or 2 inches below the bust point. The bust point here, then to stopping 2 inches below the bust point, I'll connect the lines together like this. So this is my dart leg. I'm going to extend it up because I'm going to be using it for over bust tightening here. So I extended it up, then I'm going to do 0.5 on both sides of the line for my over bust tightening. So I tightened it by 1 inch. So this person is not busty, is what I'm using. So if you're making for a busty person, so you should tighten it by 1.5 inches. But for this person, 1 inch is just perfect for our measurement. So I have this like this. So it's on this place now. We are going to cut out another collar that's just a kind of a cape that is around this place. So now that we have done this upper part, now we can go to ahead to do the down part, the side gather. So we are going to measure it out. So in order to get the side gathers, this is my full measurement now. So this is my waistline. From my waistline, I'm going to step down by 2 inches. That is where the gathered effect is going to be starting from. So I'll step down by 2 inches, then I'll connect it to this place. So I will come to this is my dart line now. I will come here and mark 1 inch out like this. So from this dart line now, I mark 1 inch out like this. So I'm going to connect this line to this place. So this 1 inch I marked out, I'm going to mark whatever is remaining here. So it's remaining 2.25, and I'm going to measure it down. So this is going to be how wide my center front is going to be. So when I open it, it's going to be 5 inches wide. So this one that I have here, I'll connect this line. So this is going to be my center front. So now that I've done that, we're going to connect this point to this point. So we're just going to make let's use, so we're just going to do it like this. So let's use this one here. Okay, so this one here is okay. Let's use this for the dart. So this is going to be the parts we are going to gather. So this gather effect I want to do, we are going to be using a slash and spread method. So in order to do that, you just have to cut label it out and rule it out like this. So it is this part that we are rolling out, we are going to be using, we'll be spreading on our fabric. So I'm going to label it 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we have 5 pieces for this one. So when we cut it out like this, the upper part is going to be like this. Then this down part, we are going to be cutting out separate and we'll be spreading it on our fabric as it is now. So now that we are done with this, we can go ahead and cut it out. So let me quickly explain how to go about this part now. So we're going to be assuming that this is the fabric I'll be using to cut out the gathered effect. So now it depends on how full I want it to be. This depends on how full you want the gathers to be. So you just place your patterns like this and put space in between. So if you want it to be very full, now you regulate the amount of space you have in between. So these spaces here are going to be what you are going to be using for the gather effect. So this is how we are going to do it. After you are done placing it on the fabric like this with the amount of spacing that you want, so you are just going to cut everything out, then it will fit into the side of the dress. So that is how you are going to be doing the gather effect. And for the sleeve, you remember the sleeve is like a kind of a ruffle kind of a sleeve. So I just drew this one out, but I'm going to explain quite after we finish drawing the back, how we are going to be drafting and be cutting the sleeve. So I'm going to explain. So this is how the front piece is going to be look like. Now at the center front like this, remember there is a joining there. So this place you're not going to be cutting it on fold. You cut it single, then you have your joining allowance here. Then after finish sewing, you are just going to put your buttons. So there's a designer button that they put at the center front like that. So this place is what is going to be housing the gathers that you are going to be using this to cut. So I'm going to place this aside, then we'll go ahead to draft the front. Okay, so for the back now, I've drawn out and I've imputed the measurements. So I don't want this video to be too lengthy for us. So I've done this. This is my sway back. I'm going to connect it back to the hip line now. This is going to help us to get rid of the bulging at the head, at the back of the dress. So now that we have done it, also for this one, I'm also going to step up by 2 inches for the off shoulder length. And I'm going to extend this like this. So for the back, it's just a straight back. Then we don't need to do any overbust tightening or anything like that. So we have this for the back. So the only thing we're going to do now is we are going to be drafting this side gather for the back. So we're just going to repeat the same thing we did for the front. From here, you mark out 2 inches down from the waist. Then from this place, you come out by 1 inch. Then you mark it down, the remaining 2.25 that is remaining from my nipple to nipple line. So I'll mark it down like this. Then I'll connect the lines together. So I'll be joining this line to this place for the side gather effect. So this is what I have after joining it. And don't forget, we are going to be using slash and spread method, like I've explained. You place each of these pieces that we are drafting out, you place it on the fabric and the spaces, so you can put 10 inches in between, as much as you can. It depends on how full you want this side gather to be. So once you have this like this, you label it so that you don't mix it up. So we have this here. So this is what we are going to be using to cut the gather effect. So this is about the back of the dress. So I'm just going to cut out and explain how we are going to be doing the ruffle sleeve on this side now. So to cut the sleeve now, it's a ruffle sleeve. To cut it, this is what we are going to do. We're just going to cut a fabric on fold. This is what I have here. I have 2.5 inches. So I want it to be 4 inches wide. I'll be 2 inches wide, but so on fold, this is 2.5 on fold. That's if I open it to be 5. I want it to be 2 inches wide, but because we are going to be joining this side here, is why I added the 0.5 inch. So with your fabric, you cut it out, you stitch it inside like this, and you turn it to the other side. So once you are done turning, you cut here. This is your elastic now. So I'm just using this one because I'm not doing the sewing tutorial. So this is the elastic. Now the elastic, after you've turned this one out and you've pressed it, so you're going to insert the elastic inside. So the elastic is going to come, you stitch it on one side, then the elastic, let's say you put the elastic like this, so you stitch it on this side, then you're going to use your safety pin to bring out the elastic. So by the time you know the elastic is shorter than the length of this, so you're just going to draw the elastic and it will gather it to form the ruffle. Now the ruffle length depends on how wide. So for the dress I just cut now, is going to be 13 inches because the shoulder is like 6 inches. So 13 inches I cut out after I put the elastic. Mine is going to be 13 inches for the front and on the back. So I'll just be using half to stitch it on the dress. I hope you guess how to draft the shoulder. So thank you for joining us in our tutorial today. If you are yet to subscribe, please do so and turn on the notification bell to get notified anytime we have a new tutorial. Thank you and see you in next class.